Hello guys, Mom Vernon Kid here, coming to you again with another comic review. Continuing on with the countdown to the 100th live episode. And I'm going to get a little bit more into what's going to come of the live episode later on. But here I am, once again, as real as it come. Follow the rules. Mom Vernon Kid here. So I'm here to deliver my comic review for this week. This was a really good week for comics. In the second week of March. Very good indeed. So let's get into these books, shall we? So, that's my phone, sorry. Right now, we are going to kick off with none other than, we're going to start at Marvel and end it at Independent. So, let's take a look, shall we? And I apologize for me just gonna turn my phone off. Sorry about that. Let's kick it off, shall we? So I apologize. So we'll kick it off from Marvel, and we're going to start off with all new XMen number 9. Bendis and Imont is back on artwork. Pretty cool cover. Mystique and Victor Creed, Sabretooth, Raven Darkholm, and Victor Creed on the cover. Alright, so basically, without spoiling a lot, we're starting to see Mystique's plan, whatever her plan is, go into motion. And we're also seeing in the beginning, which is really good, we get to see Kitty doing what her job is supposed to be, is she's basically training the younger X-Men in the Danger Room, and I love that scene. I love that how she's basically asking them out of questions and everything like that. And we're starting to see the ramifications of what happened in last issue with Jean. And now you as a reader, you're looking at this like, Jean, what are you doing? Stop that. Stop, Jean. Stop doing that. And we see that from a lot of the members, especially from Cyclops and Kitty, who's basically trying to train them. And they're going up against Sentinels in the Danger Room. So that was a little bit more. We also get a sense, basically, Cyclops tells, well, he doesn't tell, but something happens between Jean does something and Cyclops doesn't like it. And we find out that the rest of the people find out about Cyclops meeting with Mystique and things like that. And of course we see Mystique breaking certain individuals out of the raft. I'm not going to spoil who that was, but it's from the X-Men past. She was actually a former X-Men. If you've read X-Men like I have, remember when Rogue had her own team? Look for that. Look, you'll see that member, one of those members who Raven broke out. However, it's the ending that really is like, oh shit, like, okay, where's this gonna head? Not gonna spoil what that is, but it's kind of funny because this wouldn't be the last time this would happen in an X-Men related book, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, all new X-Men, really good. Bendis is still, the consistency is still there. He's still rolling. He's still on the money, and I'm loving this. Very good title indeed. All new X-Men. Alright, so we'll move on to Avengers. Jonathan Hickman still doing a very good job. Dustin Weaver does the artwork on this. So we get into the results of what the whole white event is. And Night Mask is revealed that the system is broken. And this is Hickman's style. He likes to go, he loves science. So we'll get more into science. And we realize that what they're really looking at is the new Star brand. And this Star brand is known as, he's in the body, he's become, the energy of him is in the body of just a normal college student known as Kevin Connor. And Kevin, he's all confused. He's like, what happened? Where am I? Captain America's like, we'll get you out of here, son. Don't worry about it. He turns around, he sees all these dead bodies everywhere. And, you know, next thing you know, the Hulk pretty much attacks. And he shoots the Hulk out into outer space. You can see it right here. Hulk comes at him, and he shoots Hulk out into outer space. And, you know, he's like, oh, well, how'd I do that? And Cap, I love Cap. Captain Marvel? And he's like, yeah. Would you please go get Hulk for us from outer space? And then, of course, Hyperion comes, and he's like, get on the floor, everything like that. And, you know, Thor comes and cracks him with the hammer, and then he's like, what you want, boy, is not. And it gets really dire from there, because we realize that he can't feel it. He gets like full on hit with Mjolnir, and he's like, I barely felt that. And then he's starting to really get into the power. And you got two powerhouses, Thor and Hyperion, not scratching him. What was really cool was to see Carol kind of do the Gamma Crush. Remember Gamma Crush from the old Marvel Capcom games where Hulk would jump up in outer space and bring a meteor down? We kind of see it, but a little differently. Captain Marvel goes up, she flies up the Hulk, and she launches him back, throws him back down to Earth, and he's coming down like a meteor at Star. That was really cool. But the artwork was really good, and it pretty much looks like the rebirth of the new universe in a sense. And this is the first issue that's tying into what's going on in New Avengers. Really good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Alright, so we move on to Cable X-Force number 6. Look at the cover. Basically, Colossus in chains. So basically, in the last issue, after what happened between what Cable and the team did, they were lying low in Mexico. However, Colossus had a one-night fling with Domino. Domino, but basically Colossus, Peter, gave himself up to the authorities. So this is the aftermath of what's going on. Basically, it's all centered around Peter. He gave himself up. He's a prisoner now on the raft. Wolverine comes to see him, and you know, everything like that. Also, we see Kitty. She can't really face Peter, so she wrote him a letter, and she's been sneaking, phasing through the prison and sneaking in art supplies for him so he can paint and draw. You got to remember, once again, if you're a hardcore X-Men fan like I am, you know that Peter is also a great artist. He's a good artist as well, and we see that. And we see Kitty write the letter, and one time when she's sneaking, phasing through to leave, Peter sees, he sees her and he says, "Katya," and she's like, I can't do this, and she, it's kind of sad, and she phases through it. I left you a letter, and the letter goes on to say that she's happy that he turned himself in. She's still mad about what went down, everything like that, but she's hope he gets well. What also was really cool is to see what another classic mutant appear in this book. Boom Boom. You remember Amora? I mean, not Amora. Sorry, not Amora. What was Boom Boom's real name? Oh God, I'm forgetting her real name. But Boom Boom makes an appearance in there. It was really cool to see her, and we see what Cable and the rest of the team are up to, and they're about to head out into space, but they need transportation. However, somebody comes to see Cable, and I'm not gonna spoil who that was. Let's just say I don't want to spoil it. but it's somebody close to Cable. All right. So next up, we move on to Captain America number 5. Rick Remender, John Romita. I'm still loving this series. Okay, I like Rick Remender's basically his sci-fi take on Captain America, and Cap is still in Dimension Z, and he's still suffering from the virus that Arnim Zola put him in. He's got like a Arnim Zola face now in him, and it's taking over his mind. He's just trying to fight to get back to his world. Arnim Zola raised, and of course he's keeping Ian, the child that Arnim Zola raised, and they're fighting their way. You see Ian fighting with his quote-unquote father. He's calling Cap father and everything like that. Arnim Zola sends out his best warrior, who happens to be his daughter, this woman right here, Jet Black, and they go at it. And she's just as good as Steve. If we find out that Arnim Zola used a lot of Steve's blood to, kind of clone a lot of, there were clones of, monstrous clones of Steve, but also Arnim Zola used a lot of Steve's genetic makeup to create his kids. And Arnim Zola's been telling Jet Black here that Steve killed your brother, Ian, right here. And she's just as good. Like, she can predict Steve's movements and everything like that. And it gets really dire for Steve. I have never, ever seen Steve Rogers, Captain America, so badly wounded and beat like he was. But does he quit? No, he doesn't. After, I'm going to spoil a little bit more. Something bad happens to Ian, but Steve doesn't quit. And he's using his will to keep the virus, the armies from taking over. However, he just is like, you know what, fuck this, screw this, he's like, screw this crap, okay, I'm gonna do what needs to be done. And he basically stabs himself with a knife, cutting out what seems to be the Arnim Zola in him. And he basically is like, I'm gonna go get my son now. As always, Romita, he knows how to draw people in the rain. He really knows how to draw that very well. But it was really good, very much. All right. Moving on to Daredevil number 24. Mark Magic Wade still killing it on this title. This is the ramifications of still what's going on with Foggy. Matt is being a good friend. He's staying by Matt Foggy's side. He hasn't been Daredevil in a while. It's going on to say he hasn't been Daredevil for a while. He's by Foggy's side 100% through this, and Foggy even knows it's killing you not to be Daredevil for a while. But he realized he needs to be there for Foggy. Foggy's going through some bad thing. He's got cancer, and Matt's there, as well as he realizes that he can't be in a relationship with the ADA, Karen, what is her name? Karen, Christian McDuffie, and they realize they cut their relationship short right there. But the basis of it is that once again, Matt just being a good friend, but also getting more in depth into who those other individuals who seem to portray kind of Matt's abilities, what they are all about, and who is funding them and everything like that. Still good. Mark Waid is doing just a bang-up job on this title. Just great stuff. And continuing with Mark Waid, we move on to Indestructible Hulk. I still will never get used to calling him Indestructible. I always loved Incredible, but anyway, Mark Waid, Leland Yu still does it, and Hulk is still battling Atuma, the barbarian, the Atlantean barbarian. And this was just really fun. I love the scene where Bruce teams up with a couple of rebels from Atuma's group that are fighting against him, and one of them is a female. Her name is Mara, and she's like, I don't want you, pinkling. Turn back into the green one. He was fascinating. I'm loving him, and things like that. And when Bruce turns back into him, she's like, oh my God, she is her. Let's just put it like she's all flabbergasted. Let's just say she's getting off on Hulk. She's loving it, and even at one point after Hulk does what he needs to do, she even kisses him, and Hulk is like, and he turns back into Bruce, and he's like, we were in this same position not too long ago, and she's like, oh, get away from me. And it was really funny. I really liked that. But it was really fun. It was really good to see Atuma. Haven't seen him in a long time. But very fun, very good indeed. The next issue will have the legend himself, Walter Simonson, coming on to do artwork, and it'll be Hulk and Thor teaming up. Good stuff. Alright. We move on to New Avengers. Look at that badass cover. Who do you think that is? The Big G himself, Galactus, on the cover. And pretty much Jonathan Hickman, Stephen Ebenden's artwork is brilliant. And the team is still trying to make work of the dire situation that's going on. They are able to transport to another world, in a sense. Looks like their universe, but a little different. And in this world, Galactus is doing what he does. His hunger knows no bounds. He needs to subsistence the planet, and the team gets into a fight with none other than Terrax. In this world, Terrax is still Galactus' herald, and he's a little different. He's not called Terrax the Tamer. He's actually called what is he called? They call him something else. He's called Terrax the truly enlightened. But it was still good to see. It was still good. This has just been a great series, in my opinion. Hickman is just doing a bang-up job. This has got to be probably the smartest team put together. You have all these big brains on here. T'Challa, Tony, Beast, Reed, Doctor Strange, Namor, and Black Bolt. How can you not care about these characters? It's clearly ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. When I hear people say that, I'm like, really? So we move on to Savage Wolverine number 3. Frank Cho still does the artwork and writing. The cover is great. In this issue, it's still pretty much the good chemistry that between Shanna and Logan, where we get a little bit more in depth now to the new player that's entered the Forbidden Islands of the Savage Land. Because they're in the Savage Land, guys, but Wolverine and Shanna are in a forbidden part of the Savage Land. There are some islands that are really forbidden. Nobody really knows about them. And Amadeus Cho is in this, and he's the people of this the natives of this think of Amadeus Cho as a god, and they start offering him women, and he's like, "Come in, great god, you love women. Choose one of our women. They're very strong." And one of them is really very much into Amadeus. She even crawls up on him, and it's really funny because Amadeus, he's like, "You like women, don't you?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and you can see it right here. Amadeus Cho is looking at the boobies, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love them." And then she just takes it upon herself. She's like, Lorna actually is quite fond of you, and you not like me, great God? And he's like, yeah. But he's like, can you tell me? And he's like, and then the chieftain's like, good. You want to go business before pleasure. And even the woman, Lorna, she's like, and he's like, hey, but afterwards, we're back on, right? And she smiles at him. I was like, that's stupid. But it's still, we get an in-depth story of how the people became who they are. Shauna and Wolverine are just, it's really funny. A lot of action in this. This is really action-oriented. But what can you expect for being in a Savage Land? It's almost like every day is a struggle. And it wasn't your strongest issue, but it was good. And something bad happens to Shauna in this. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but yes, something bad happens to Shauna. We move on to Superior Spider-Man number 6. Dan Slott. Roberto Ramos is on the artwork in this. I'm not a big fan of his, but in this issue, this is kind of getting ready to tie into what's to come. That story arc called Fired or something like that. And we have Screwball and Jester. And they go around filming them doing pranks on people. And unfortunately, their pranks get to the point where they prank J. Jonah Jameson, the mayor, and he summons Spidey, Otto Peter to help out. And at first, he's not like, I don't want to do this. I'd rather go get my PhD. See, he's still trying to get Peter Parker his PhD so he can be called now Dr. Peter Parker instead now. Unfortunately, they start to get Peter's attention, and Octo Peter feels that they're like bullies, and Otto knows a lot of things about bullying because you see it in his mind. And unfortunately, for Jester and Screwboy, it gets a little bad, especially at the end. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but also the Avengers are watching this, and they're noticing that Peter, this Spider-Man, is taking it a little to the extreme. Like, he killed somebody, everything like that, and they're like, we got to address this now. He's different now. And I kind of like where Wolverine stood on this. He was like, let me actually read the panel to you, because it was really good. I really enjoyed what Wolverine said, but he admitted, like, okay. He basically said, they're like, we got to look into this. And, especially what Widow said. And Wolverine says, really, Widow? You tell me, who doesn't have blood on their hands in this room? And he says, look around this table. And you know what I see? A bunch of spies, talking about Spider-Woman and Widow, a soldier, and killers. We all done our fair share of avenging. But now, we're gonna hold Spider-Man to a different standard. And basically, Spider-Woman's like, what do you suggest, Wolverine? And she's like, we keep an eye on him. He's, because they've never seen Spider. Spider, he doesn't do this. So they're kind of interested, but it gets really crazy at the end. And then, let's just say there. Even Wolverine says, okay, we got to bring him in. We got to bring him in. It's just like, wow. It's like, wow, Slott, you're pushing it. You're pushing it, Slott. And we move on to Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 21. This is still Venom Wars. Bendis is writing this. Very good. Sarah Pichelli's artwork is beautiful. And in this issue, we're dealing with the ramifications of what happened in last issue. Miles' dad was rushed to the hospital after Venom attacked him. Miles is distraught. He doesn't know what to do. His mom is at the hospital. Genki, his best friend, comes along and tries to cheer him up, like, okay, don't sweat it, dude. We'll get through this. And unfortunately, we get some help from two individuals that knew Peter Parker personally, Gwen and Mary Jane, and they come and tell Miles about what the Venom is in this universe. Remember, Peter Parker's dad made it. It was supposed to be the symbiote in this universe was supposed to be like a cure for cancer, but somebody altered it and everything like that. They tell all this detail to Miles and Genki, and Miles is just trying to figure why is it coming after me? Why is it doing it? And they kind of explain that, and it gets really serious to the point it's like, ugh, it's just like that. But still good, very good indeed. Very much loving Ultimate Spider-Man's 21. And we'll end Marvel with none other than XFactor number 553. It says in the book Peter David has went home. He after suffering his stroke, he had to relearn how to. They had to teach him how to walk again, which was glad to see that he's back. He's back with his family, thank God. And they say he's happily conjuring up future ideas for XFactor. So he's still going to be on the book. Thank you. And in this issue, the Hell Lords are still coming after Terror, Wolfsbane's son. Satana, people like that, they're still coming after him. And the team is just trying to survive. We're starting to get, we're also starting to see what's going on with Guido. Also, what's going to happen to Marduk. And is what's going on with Monette M. We find out what's happening to her, and I'm not gonna spoil what that is. So far, Hell on Earth War, this is part 4, has been pretty decent. It just makes you wonder, how is this gonna end, and what's gonna happen to some characters in this, members of the team. Don't want to spoil that. It's too good to spoil. Very good indeed. But enjoyed what I read from Marvel. So we move on to DC, and I got a few DC. One of them, once again, I did not buy. One of them is from my beloved goddess Destiny. I love you, babe. Thank you for buying it again, as always. And you know what title that is. But let's kick it off with Batwoman, number 18. J.H. William III. We're back. We're starting to see the partnership between Kate and her cousin Betty, who now is called Flamebird, or what's her name again? I'm forgetting her name because it's not Flamebird no more. It's called what is it called? Hawkfire, yeah. And in the first part of it, Kate and her cousin are fighting Mr. Freeze. And you hear in both ears of Kate and Betty, they're both getting instructions by getting orders from different people. Like Kate here is getting orders from the DEO, her contact for the DEO, the company, the group that she's working for, and Betty's getting orders from Kate's father, who trained her. And they do something to Mr. Freeze in this that kind of was a little bit overkill. And unfortunately, who comes down? Batman. Bruce comes down, and he even says it, like, I'll take it from here. They literally took a ice shard and stabbed it through Mr. Freeze's thigh. And he even says, Bruce even says, like, that was a little overkill. And Batman was like, you know, whatever it takes. And there's kind of a little stalemate between Bruce and Batwoman. They're like, Batman's like, I need Freeze's weapon. I need to analyze it for countermeasures. And they're like, no, you're not getting it. And she breaks it. It's like, here, you can have half. Good luck trying to find the pieces. And it's like, and they realize, and Batman even realizes that Kate is working for this company called DEO that's run by this guy called Mr. Bones, who looks like a Black Mask, but not. and he knows that basically Batman, the DO knows Batman is on their trail now, and he will find them soon enough. So, and they know that they're just doing a lot of shady stuff, even knowing that Batwoman is not following orders, and we only have her as leverage because of what we would do to her father. And but it's still good, really good. This wouldn't be the first issue that I have that Mr. Freeze would make an appearance in, and we're talking about the first issue of Birds of Prey that Christy Marks does. Bottom line in this is Mr. Freeze figuring out he still wants revenge on the Talons. That's what brings him into conflict between the birds. Canary is still, even Starling's like, look girl, we need to talk. Like, what is going on? And she's like, not now, can't do this. They still don't trust Strix here. They're like, I don't trust her. I wish she could talk. They don't trust her. Things like that. And once again, Mr. Freeze comes in, and it's just a battle of shooters. And all Mr. Freeze wants is the Talon. He even says, I want the Talon. Just give me the Talon, and I'll leave. And it really gets down to it's like you're saying, Dino, what are you prepared to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to save your teammate, or are you just going to let Mr. Freeze take her? And we move on to Green Lantern New Guardians number 18, Star Sapphire and Life Without Love. This is part 7 of the Wrath of First Lantern. Tony Bedard and Passetio is the artist on this. And once again, we see the First Lantern playing with not only Larfleeze, he's playing with he's playing with Saint Walker, and he's also playing with none other than Jesus Christ, who else? I noticed a couple other people. Carol, excuse me. Sorry. And the Lantern, the First Lantern realizes that at first it looks like he can handle them, but he's starting to see that these emotions, love, hope, and even greed, it's not so easy to overcome. Just like how it wasn't so easy. He even says it like, why are you guys so easy breaking out of this? Y'all feel just like what happened to me with me, what I did try to do to Rainer. And it's just a really eye-opener in this. We see a lot of things like Larfleeze's family and things like that. And it's starting to pick up. But once again, I'm thinking when they advertised Wrath of First Lantern, I'm thinking there was going to be some hard-hitting stuff and things like that, and I'm not really seeing that, guys. But he's mentally playing with them, and that's not bad. But I'm just saying, that's just all right. We move on to Justice League. That is a beautiful cover with Cyborg. This issue actually centers around Cyborg. This is issue 18. Basically, we're starting to see the recruitment of the rest of the league, and basically that's it. This basically picks up right after what happened with the Atlantis, when Cyborg put out a call to other superhumans to help out, and that's where basically he goes into. It's like we need to expand, and we see the people that Cyborg has basically he put out the word for. We see Firestorm, Ronnie, and all of them together. Black Canary, Zatanna, and they're all just sitting around, and when you finally get to see everybody there, everybody who comes up, here's the whole panel of everybody who's there, and everybody's just talking, So the people are there is Black Canary, Black Lightning, Blue Devil, Element Woman, Firestorm, Gold Rush, Nightwing, Platinum, Vixen, and Zatanna. Once again, they got no explanation of how, no continuity, Johns, once again, how explaining how Vixen was healed. She was nearly paralyzed. Don't go into detail about that, and I'm griping about that, people. I'm sorry. I gotta gripe about that. Because in Justice League International, once again, DC, you get a big FU for that, for canceling that book. And we saw Vixen nearly crippled, and there's no explanation about that. However, we're seeing the team get along, and a lot of the members are like saying, I don't know, especially Black Lightning, and he's like, I appreciate the offer, Batman, but me and Blue Devil are already partners. If you want to take us both, that's great. Even at one point, Superman's like, did you hear that? It was a faint heartbeat. Now, we don't know what this is, but we see a silhouette of somebody, like, watching. And I love the chemistry between the character Gold Rush here and Flash. She seems to really be fond of Flash. And Flash even comes up, he's like, that Gold Rush? She's not allowed. She's not in the team. Like, stuff like that. Basically, the idea of this is they need full-time members. That's what they're looking for. And we start to see this android known as Platinum just go around saying, "Hi, I'm Platinum. How are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And she is a creation of, I believe, Magus. I'm thinking, and as well as this would have been this would be what would if Platinum worked, this would spawn the Metal Men, if you all know the Metal Men. However, it gets crazy and Platinum just starts attacking everybody, so they have to be able to shut her down. And unfortunately, basically, Firestorm transmutates Platinum's outer core, liquefies her, and shuts down this response meter that's in her. However, it looks like it's going to drop, and all of a sudden, we finally see who catches it. I'll show it. Ta-da! The Atom. Yes, the Atom. And they're like, where'd she come from? And she's like, hello, is it too late to try out? And we find out that the Atom now is a female. So my prediction was right. It's a female. Her name is Rhonda Pineda, and she's a college student. And we get to see that who, as of right now, are the 3 individuals that the Justice League choose as full-time members of the League. And they choose the Atom, Element Woman, and Firestorm as of right now. And but something else bad happens. Someone steals vital information about the League. They don't know. And of course, the backstory between Shazam was still good. Black Adam is just causing havoc, and Billy wants no part of it. He's scared. He's this, he's that. And the rest of the people, like Freddie Freeman, Mary, all the other foster kids, look for him and things like that. And it gets really, really interesting because they want to see him turn into Shazam. They're like, turn into Shazam. Come on. And he's like, no, I don't want to do this. We got to find the wizard again so he could turn everything back. Dr. Cervantes is gathering the 7 sins of deadly sins of mankind to wreak havoc, and Black Adam is just like, let's do it. And it's getting crazy. But it was good. It was fun. I liked the story. Am I mad that the Atom is now a female in this universe? Not really. This is cool to me. So we move on to the book that I did not purchase. This was bought for me. JLA. Jeff Johns And basically, in this issue, the team comes together finally, and basically everything just goes crazy. In a sense, not really crazy, but the team gets to meet each other for the first time. We're starting to see, we get to see who beat the crap out of Green Arrow. We get to see somebody recruiting Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. It seems like there's a secret society of coming. And we all know that this team has really been brought together so they'll be able to take down the Justice League if need be. And unfortunately, we don't know that. What was the funniest thing to me was the conversation between Vibe and Hawkman when they meet. I love it. It was funny. It's like Vibe is like, "Hey," and he's like, he says, "Hawkman, right? Are you okay? Why? You're covered in blood. It's not my blood." And you literally see Vibe ease over, which is, I had to laugh at that. I thought that was funny. But the main thing is basically they're trying to find out who attacked, trying to get some info on the secret society as well as who attacked Ollie. And we find out who it is, which I will show you. The Trinity. However, that's not the Trinity that we know. I believe, once again, that since Professor Ivo is involved in these, those are androids. But it was still good. I must admit, once again, thank you, babe, for buying it for me. I appreciate it very much. Because thank you much. Thank you very much. She's loving it because, her boy Hawkman's on it. That's her favorite DC hero. Hawkman's on it, so, she laughed when she saw that. So we move on to Nightwing, number 18. This is Requiem. Kyle Higgins retells a little bit of what happened in the last Nightwing issue where Dick and Damian goes on to tell him why he likes Dick so much. There's a very good soliloquy, a very good monologue between Dick at Damian's grave about, you'll always be my brother and everything like that. If you remember, Damian was like, we should do this more often. We should even get into a game, play this game. Dick bought that game. You see him, the game comes in America, and he gets really mad about it because now he can't play it with Damian. There's more into it than just that. What happened between Joker, some of that. Also, what's going on between the man who killed Dick's parents. I'm going to spoil this. So if you don't want to be spoiled, mute this video right now. We find out that the man who killed Dick's parents, Boss Tony Zuko, is still freaking alive in Chicago, and Zuko's daughter even shows it to Dick. He's like, I can't, are you serious? So it looks like Dick is going to Chicago. We know he's going to go to Chicago, and we just hope Dick doesn't do anything stupid. But a new city, new foes, bring it on. Nightwing, number 18. And last but not least, we're on to Wonder Woman. Been good. And it's all about getting Zola's baby back, pretty much, from Hermes, who has her. Now, the one thing that is cool about, since Hephaestus has upgraded Diana's gauntlets, her bracelets, she now can, once she can literally summon swords from her gauntlets. They come right out of her gauntlets, dematerialize and interiorize right there. And she uses them to fight Hermes, of course, for the baby. And it's pretty much there. It ends kind of on a happy note, this issue. What happens? Does Zola get her baby back? Yes, she does. But does Wonder Woman save it? I won't spoil that. And we get a little pep talk. Still, Orion is still in the book, but yeah. I won't spoil how Zola gets her baby back from in that issue. So we move on to Dynamite. We're in Independent now. Dynamite this is the Bionic Man number 18. This was written by Aaron Gillespie. And in last issue, Steve is in, where is he in? Jordan, I believe. And he's still behind enemy lines. He's trying to find this nuclear bomb that these terrorists are going to use in this kind of semi-rebellious war. And he's trying to get information by using some of his mastery disguise skills, and that's pretty much it. But he's still on the hunt for this nuclear bomb before someone sets it off. But still, good storytelling. I like this cover. It's great. Bionic Man has been really good. Alright. And we move on to the Spider, another Dynamite issue. David List has been incredibly good on this. This is issue number 10. And Ivan Rodriguez's artwork is cool, but I'm wanting Colton Worley back. So they've reintroduced the Spider's main arch nemesis, the Fly, in this issue. And he is just as clever. He's very clever. He can outthink and outwit the Spider. And he's doing it in this issue. He's a little crazy. You wouldn't expect him to be a mastermind supervillain if you look at it, but he has really outdone himself in this. And it's I don't want to spoil this, but you just have to. If you read Dynamite and you love the Spider as much as I do, great pulp character, and I can't wait to send these to two of my friends. But Spider's just been fantastic. And we move on to Voltron number 11. Brandon Thomas has still been just twisting the knife a little deeper, but when I mean twisting it deeper, it's not in a bad way. He's twisting it good, and that's kind of hard to say, but yeah. There's some secrets being held between both Princess Allure, and Keith, and it could divide the group very much. That's all I'm going to say. Don't want to spoil too much, but that's the main gist of it. There are secrets that both Allure and Keith, and they're hiding it from each other. But will they decide to reveal it? Just maybe have to find out when I review issue number 12. Good stuff. Now, we got 2 IDW books, and basically, guys, I was not going to pick up any more G.I. Joe stuff because A, my boy Snake Eyes is not in any of the books that I remember. I think something bad happened to Snake Eyes. But I am a G.I. Joe fan. There are other Joes that I like. And in Fred Van Lint's G.I. Joe, that Duke's team is public. Everybody knows about that. But I thought I'd go back to, I like when G.I. Joe was like covert ops. So I decided to pick up G.I. Joe Special Missions. This is a team led by Scarlet. And so far, the team is dealing with, they're on the trail of the Baroness. And pretty much she has, some of the individuals that are on her team are, one of them is Beachhead, he's there, Mainframe is there, people like that. Not going to spoil who all the members of her team is, but they're more of the team that pretty much goes to the special missions like the Black Ops covert missions, while Duke's team is public and then things like that. But I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Chuck Dixon, he knows how to write G.I. Joe, so I'm not surprised. And the artist on this is Paul Gulacy. He drew this, and it was really good. Baroness in this was really written very well. She was written just as just as devious, just as cunning as she's always been written. She's been betrayed. And we find out that she's not on good terms now with Cobra anymore. Cobra is looking for her. And it makes you wonder who's going to get to her first. Scarlet's team or Serpentor and the rest of Cobra. But I did enjoy that. I really did. And without spoiling too much, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 20, Kevin Eastman. Good job. Look at that cover. Badass cover. Right? Look at that. Without spoiling too much, the fight between Krang in Dimension X with the help of neutrinos is going, I don't want to say good, but the Turtles are still fighting. They're fighting Krang. The neutrinos are just doing their job. These neutrinos are a lot different. And Krang, what Krang wants is the Fugitoid that is with them. Does Krang get him? I won't spoil that. Do the Turtles get back home? I won't spoil that. All you need to do is pick up this book and read it, and you will find out. Won't spoil Turtles too much, but it's been really good. I've been loving it. And last but not least, we move on to Valiant Comics and Man of War. Look at that cover. Really cover. Bottom line, guys, just let me sum this up really fast, because that's the whole gist of this issue is basic. Alric, who's in the Man War, he takes the fight to the Vine. He flies all back to their planet, and he just wreaks havoc on them. It's like, okay, I'm tired of being chased by you. I'm tired of this. He just brings the fight to them, and it gets bad. Not for Alric, but for the Vine. And we also get an in-depth story of the Vine and where the armor came from. That's all I'm going to say. And the title, and this is the first issue of the story arc, Planet Death. Alright, there you go, guys. Finished today. This is episode 91 is done. I believe this is 91. It could be wrong. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. My review. I wanted to tell you something now to get more in depth into what's to come for the 100th issue, which is going to be live. So now here's what's gonna go down for the 100th issue episode, of my comic reviews, which will be live. I will do the reviews like I always do, but between each book I review, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna do a little Q&A. You guys submit me some questions, and I'll answer them. Now, here's the thing. Only comic-related questions. I want to keep comic-related stuff on this channel. Nothing else. So please don't ask me about, what games are you playing on your Xbox or something like that, Chris, or things like that. No. Keep comic-related. If it's comic-related movies, I will answer. Books, anything like that, I will keep it. I would say limit your questions at least to, I'll give it a good round even number, 8 questions a pop for anybody who wants to participate. So you can give me at least 8 questions. But yeah, there will be a Q&A involved. So it'll be a review. I'll review the books as always, and let's say I review one book. I'll put that down. I'll answer your questions. I'll answer a few questions. Go back, answer some more questions, things like that. So that's what's going to happen on the 100th episode of my comic reviews. The countdown is still on. I will see you guys next week, God willing, as always, for the next review. Next week, I know Mark Waid, Green Hornet comes out next week. Looking forward to that. That is one of the must read for me. As always, I want to say thank you for watching. Tune in For me, catch me on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. Catch me on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, of course, most love and respect to Blue Goblin, of course. And shout out to Fat Stack Comics, Mark. He's gotten pretty well. He recovered from his flu. I tried to kick tabs on him and see how he was doing. It's good to see that him and Chloe are back. They rocked out their haul. Shout out to Mike, Spider Slayer, and all of them. Everybody over at Dark Avenger Inc. The Dark Avenger Inc. family, as always, I always show some love. As I said, I'm real as it come. I follow the rules, but as always, guys, this is Mom Brain Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real, guys. I'll catch you guys on the flip flop, and I am out. Take care.